everybody, welcome to the DBC Pod. This is Jason Dodge with my buddy Phil Schoen. This is a special bonus episode of the show. We're going to start doing this on a week-to-week basis for The Mandalorian. We literally just finished watching episode 2, season 2. And we're going to talk about the episode, kind of throw out our opinions, and do your typical kind of reaction type of show. Phil, this is your second time seeing this episode because I think you watched them back to back.
Yeah, watched it right before we watched it together with the family. Thinking the kids would go to bed after, but that did not happen.
So you might hear some things in the background. My kids did go to bed, but mine are significantly younger. Okay, so we were going to do an episode 1 reaction, but things kind of got away from us this week. So we're going to do an episode 1 and 2 recap, and then every week we're going to do another show afterwards. I think these are going to be like 10, 15-minute shows, just kind of speaking our thoughts. So, Phil, what is your immediate reaction? Let's start with here. So we went through an epic ending of season 1. We all love season 1, and you have the dark saber, you've got everything going on, and then it's season 2, episode 1. We're back on Tatooine. They kind of did like a clean slate refresh of everything.
Right.
So what do you think of that? Do you like it?
So, I think it needed to have its own sort of vibe and entity. It made sense not to start right off, kind of where season 1 left off.
I agree.
And it picked up, with Mando on his mission that he was tasked by the Armorer, to return Baby Yoda and to either his people or the Jedi. And what it outlines in episode 1 is that he feels that tracking down other Mandalorian, since they were in battle against the Jedi, he thinks will help them, or at least it's the only lead he can think of. So that's where we're at, and he gets at the beginning of that episode, he gets a lead of a Mandalorian on Tatooine, which obviously a lot of Star Wars fans' ears perked up because they recall from previous movies when there was a Mandalorian on Tatooine.
Gee, who could it be?
Yeah.
Especially with the last 2 seconds of episode. Oh, by the way, there's spoilers throughout this.
Oh, yeah. We probably should say that
at the beginning. So, yeah, I mean, if you haven't watched episode 1 yet, you should be listening to the show anyway. But the end of the season, episode 1 was basically, I can't remember the actor's name, turning around to the camera for the last 2 seconds. And you're like, aha.
Yeah, it's Tamora Morrison. Who played Jango Fett in the movies.
Right. I was going to say Jango, but I wanted to use the actor's name, and I didn't know it. So, in any case, so that was kind of like the little surprise ending to the episode that kind of teases the rest of the season. This is why I like it. You've got Favreau and you've got Filoni, who are not scared to tie in old content, right? The good thing is they're not clumsy about it, like JJ might have been or Lucas was and stuff like that, kind of like just like ham-fisting in fan service. It doesn't feel like fan service when they do it. I mean, obviously they're tying in a fan favorite of Boba Fett who had 8 minutes of screen time in the original trilogy that had just like epic things talked, written about comics and all this other stuff that, that's not really mainstream to the general audience. And they're doing it in a good way, right? It's not like Boba Fett comes in and saves Mando at at the end of the episode. It's just like that would be kind of stupid,
right?
So it's a little bit of flavor in there. I really like. So episode 1 had the crate dragon come in and it was an issue. So Mando goes on Tatooine. He's looking for Mandalorians. He finds a guy in Mandalorian armor. He's not a Mandalorian. He says, I will give you this armor if you help us solve a problem. And the problem is basically killing a crate dragon the whole episode. Yeah. So my question to you, Phil, is where do you know crate dragons from? Where is your frame of reference for those?
So, I mean, I know of them. They've been featured elsewhere in Star Wars comics and stuff like that. So I don't recall them being quite as big as the one that was shown here. I think the other thing that's really well known about them, and you saw that at the end of episode 1, is inside they have their pearls, which are supposed to be very strong in the Force, and you can actually use, I guess, part of them or them to make lightsabers.
So I know crate dragons vaguely from Star Wars Galaxies, which is a video game from the late 90s, early 2000s. That was one of the original MMORPGs. It's basically thousands and thousands of people playing on the same server from, back in the day. And great dragons were something that you could farm. You had to farm for your Jedi. I mean, there's a whole thing, right? So that's where I originally heard about them. And they used to just be a creature that you killed for experience and loot and all this other stuff. And then, of course, references through like comics and books and stuff like that I never really got into, though I did used to read a lot of the expanded universe. So I thought it was really cool tying in something that like real Star Wars nerds know about, but you made it fresh for people who might not know some of the expanded lore of the Star Wars universe.
Right.
So I thought that was really good.
And I
'Cause-
think the same thing happened with Cobb Vanth, who is in a book. Um, uh, it's like 3 chapters of a book, and he, in that book, he's the one who found Boba Fett's armor. So it ties into a book. So again, it's another example of like,
really, I didn't know
yeah,
that.
yeah. So it's another example
Explain that.
of, well, it's another example of these, taking a small character from a book that most people haven't read.
Which book was that?
I'd have to look it up. I don't remember the name of it.
Is it rather old? Is it from like the expanded universe from like
So
2 decades
I
ago?
believe it's in the Aftermath novel, which is set basically after um, episode episode 6, and it's a 3-part novel book series that sort of tells what happens after the fact. After
Do
the
you get a sense of? Do you remember when the publication date of that was?
it's not that old. It's
Oh,
like
okay. Because after that, like, yeah. Because I mean, I was big into Star Wars books, like when the Thrawn series was coming out, and read all that stuff
yeah.
back
So
in the
this
day.
is
I
a
haven't
little
read
newer
any
than
books
that.
recently. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Okay, no, I totally love that, and I think that's why I've said to friends and other people online that the Mandalorian is the best Star Wars since the '80s. It's better than the prequels. It's better than the sequels for live action.
I was going to say live
Uh,
action. You could argue some of the cartoons, but
I'm not
certainly live
steeped
action.
very deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not steeped deep in the animation. I haven't watched a lot of that stuff yet. I haven't had time, and I was used to be a big Star Wars fan, and now I kind of have to turn my card in a little bit for not watching like Rebels or anything else like that, and then Clone Wars. I've been the last 7 years. I've been waiting for my kids to be old enough to do it with them for the first time. I'm
Yeah.
almost there. Anyway, I've mentioned that before. Okay, so episode 1. Generally, do you think it was a good opening to the second season, average, or were you expecting more?
I thought it was very good. It was very big. It felt almost like an epic movie. It did feel like a little bit of retreading some of the plot lines. Like again, back on Tatooine, had been sort of like the creature of the episode. So it kind of felt like the plot, some of the plot line elements or the arc, I guess, maybe is a little bit of a retread. But overall, I thought it was pretty excellent. And obviously, you have a lot of the, for lack of a better word, fan service with some of the characters like Cobb Vanth, and then obviously Boba Fett at the end.
I think it was an excellent opening to season 2 because you closed season 1 with an epic fight, right?
Right.
So you're at the top of your tempo, and you can't maintain that
Right.
over another 8 episodes.
Right.
It's impossible because you're going to have utter failure at this point. The show succeeds at the day-to-day life of the Mandalorian, the day-to-day life of the characters doing mundane things or just everyday kind of stuff,
Right.
not being part of an epic war against the Empire or anything else like that. So bringing it back down in a reasonable way and bringing the tempo down to kind of build up to tell smaller stories, I think is
Mm-hmm.
extremely smart. So I'm not disappointed in that whatsoever. I love the epicness of the Great Dragon because I'm like, I can't believe it's like this huge thing. It's like great special effects. You don't typically see that in a smaller series like
Right.
Mandalorian, 8 episodes, and everything's under 40 minutes. So that I thought that was great. The fan service was really good. It was subtle, and it just basically got him. It said, okay, the direction of the season is I got to return Baby Yoda, and I got to find the Mandalorians. So I'm going to go into episode 2, which we just finished watching literally 9 minutes and 37 seconds ago. And I was kind of disappointed with episode 2.
I think it was
And
definitely like a little bit of a cool down. And
yep,
I think it was trying to, I don't know about set the stage, but sort of set the environment we're in, and sort of really push some of the messaging that I'm getting through this. I mean, from the
Well,
first season
expand on
too.
that.
So
Expand
I
on the
think,
messaging.
yeah, one of the big things I got out of the first episode was this idea of don't judge a book by its cover, and that people
With the
that
Tusken Raiders, sure.
Tusken Raiders, so people who are different, you had Cobb Vanth and they're monsters, you can't reason with them, but he learned from Quill in the first season that no, you can talk to them, you can communicate them. They're not monsters, they're not primates or whatever. Like they're just a different people. They're not better or worse than you, and I think he's grown from that. So you really saw that in that first episode. I think you saw it in the second episode with I guess the frog lady. She didn't really have a name, but yeah, he kind of underestimates her. He's like, "I gotta protect you," blah blah blah. And then, I mean, we're jumping ahead a little bit, but then who knew she could rewire an android so that she could use his vocal box to talk and stuff like that. So it's kind of really underestimating her.
I
And I
mean,
think
I mean, I get that theme, but I
yeah.
don't. I mean, I don't know if it's something that we need to pay attention to,
Well, I think that's
unless they.
kind of an overarching theme, and the other thing that I think it did set the stage, and again, we're getting into the plot of episode two, but you had obviously the New Republic people that he comes in contact with in their X-wings, and it really helps. They talked about it in the first season, but this is the Empire's gone, but the New Republic isn't fully formed. It's not fully in control. They're just trying to establish themselves, and you have these two X-wing pilots who were probably aces of the war and used to these big galactic battles, like you're saying, and now they're basically traffic cops.
Right.
And
So
and
you had
so
you had two guys on the outer rim, basically. Well, let's reset. Let's do some world building, right?
yep,
So you've got you're at Tatooine. The guy Mando searching for Mandalorians. He finds out that he found out in the Mos Eisley's canteen that or the cantina, excuse me, that there's Mandalorians on this other planet, and to get there, he needs to do basically become a taxi at sublight. Can't even use hyperspace, and it's a frog lady with a bunch of eggs. And if they go to hyperspace, they die, and they die anyway because Baby Yoda eats them, which is really creepy but funny. So anyway, he's traveling, and as he's traveling in sublight, like you said, the X-wings pop out. And what I thought was really cool is you just have two X-wings in the middle of nowhere, just kind of doing on a patrol mission. Because what else are they going to do? And now, like you said, they're kind of like traffic cops. So I
yeah,
mean,
they're
that
trying to find
you've
if there's
got
any remnants of the Empire, any Imperial signals and stuff, but it's not grand like what they're used to.
right. Well, yeah, it kind of shows you that the New Republic is kind of new, obviously, and they're sending just X-wings out randomly to like find stuff in the depths of space in some random system between Tatooine and whatever planet they were trying to get to.
Yeah, they're trying to get to.
So, um, the reason why I was disappointed, right? Because I don't think it moved the dialogue any
No,
further. It was fun, right? Because you
yeah,
had the whole spider monsters and the whole end action scene. It was great, right? And it's good special effects and it's great action. But the only thing that got to it is he moved him from Tatooine, found out Mandalorians are on some other planet. He got halfway to that planet, and his ship got all screwed up. And the New Republican people aren't a bunch of you know. I'm trying to say this without saying
well, they're not.
the
I
words
mean,
that are nice,
I don't know
but
if
they're
it's the
but
right word, but they're not really acting like heroes like they were in like the original trilogy, right?
no, that's not what it is.
Yeah,
Like you would expect, like if they were Imperials, they'd be getting like, "You're shut down. I'm
yeah, yeah,
taking you over, whatever." But the New Republic people were like, "Hey, you were on record of like kind of saving things. We'll kind of help you out a little bit. We'll kind of
yeah,
let you go because they're not being, you know, to use
yeah,
language from my kids, meanie pants
yeah,
about it, right?"
yeah.
So you kind of get that difference of flavor between New Republic and Imperial.
Well,
That's
they're not
that's
meanie
cool.
pants, but they're also not like, oh, okay, well, let's help you out. They kind of just leave them there too. It's kind
Right,
of like,
right. So they kind of didn't destroy his ship. So the only thing in the overall story arc that we learned was that he moved a half a sector over and his ship's all banged up. And a cool little tiny adventure that leads nowhere.
yeah,
Right? We had no character building, right? Mandalorian's still the same guy. He still really cares about Baby Yoda and he's going to protect him. We
yeah,
already knew that. He didn't get any new equipment or anything else like that he kind of did in a couple other episodes. He didn't learn any valuable lesson. The only thing he's setting this up is for maybe getting a new ship, because I don't think there's anything salvaging the ship that he
Yeah,
has,
well, I think he's
and I think
hoping when
that
he
might be
gets
coming.
to where they're going, which I think is Trask. I assume he's hoping there's a shipyard there that can help repair it. But
Well, I don't think he's going to repair it. I mean, it's basically scrapped. Like the only thing that's holding pressure is his hull. I mean, the cockpit.
yeah,
And this might be kind of having him. I mean, see, that's the thing I'm kind of doubting, because my first thought is, oh, he's going to get a new ship, or he's going to barter for a new ship,
yeah,
or he's going to now go find people, run into somebody he knows, kind of thing, right? He's going to find somebody.
yeah.
He's going to interact with them. And he's actually going to have to do something to fix his ship, because he probably doesn't have enough money to fix his
Right.
whole ship, because it's probably super beat up. So that's going to lead to another adventure, random side quest that he's got to do, or he's going to meet up with somebody else that he knows and he's going to give him money or help him out or lead him to another side quest or lead him to where the Mandalorians really are, or he's going to sign on to something else and travel with other people. He's not going to have a ship anymore.
Yeah.
The issue I have is his ship is almost iconic. It's like the old Western. That's his horse, right?
Right.
And I don't think they're want to give it away so fast. So I don't know what the point of this episode is, other than telling a really cool story, like Monster of the Week type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think they try to have a theme or a mood or a style to each episode. This one definitely felt like a space horror movie. Yeah, it got a
Mm-hmm.
lot of alien vibes.
Alien
Um,
spiders.
yeah. So I think, yeah, it was kind of more of a self-contained story, a little bit of a breather from last episode that just sort of starts the next. Like obviously he's with this frog lady. She's going to be there. We saw from the trailer or the previews that he's with her on a water planet. So I'm assuming that's
I
going to be
didn't
the
see the
next episode.
previews.
Okay, yeah. So I'm assuming that's going to be the next episode. Um, so yeah, it did feel like sort of just like the start of like the next thing.
Well, here's another thing that just popped in my head. So you've got the frog lady on the world. She made a point saying, "Him, don't Mandalorians follow or keep their word, follow
Yeah,
their creed, and all that other stuff." So all the trials and tribulations he's going to deliver her. Maybe the husband is like a powerful person, right? She's like underplaying who he is, and he helps
maybe.
her, returns the favor by repairing a ship or giving him a new one or doing something. Because obviously, if she can kind of repair a droid to talk
Yeah.
for her,
hmm
maybe their people are very highly technical people
Yeah.
or something. I
I
don't
guess
know.
we'll find out. Yeah, like I think that's possible. I mean, I think she's going to be, at least for the near term, going to be one of the important characters from this season. Like Quill was from the
So you
first
think her
season.
character is going to be prolonged through
Yeah, I mean, I
a
don't know
couple
about the
episodes?
whole season, but I think for at least this part of the arc.
So I mean, I purposely haven't read anything about this season, right? So I don't
Yeah.
know. I haven't read rumors or speculation or read leaks or if there have been any. So
Okay.
I'm completely blind.
Yeah.
All I know is where season two or episode two ended.
Okay.
So do you know anything other than the previews that you saw for next
So I
week?
saw the previews, and then I've heard lots of rumors and casting stuff.
Oh, so you dove
Well, it's
deep into it.
yeah.
I
Well,
typically do that
yeah.
too, but I purposely didn't
Okay.
for
So
Mandalorian.
yeah, obviously I won't share anything, but
Ah,
there's
man.
potential for some good stuff. So we'll see what
Well, no, I
happens.
mean, I've heard like it was impossible not to hear
Yeah.
rumors of what
Right.
you're going to
Well,
see.
yeah. I
I've
mean,
heard
I
some
don't
of
think I've
them.
gone too deep onto it. I haven't, but I don't
There's a
know.
lot
The
of
speculation is fun.
other characters that are going to
Yeah.
pop up in this
Potentially,
season,
at least. Yeah.
so there's all that. I'm really curious about how he reunites with some of the cast from season one,
Yeah.
because I know a lot of them are going to be there. Um, and I mean, I think we'll wrap up this because let's keep this under
Yeah.
right around 20 minutes. Um, I think where they're going is going to be interesting. If they're going to start, I think what they have to do is start attempting to have a plot. Right.
Yeah.
Right now, he's wandering. We don't know what he's doing. It's kind of like the
Yeah.
week to week type of thing.
I agree.
So,
I mean, I feel like through the first two episodes, they've kind of set the stage, and we kind of know
mm-hmm.
a little bit about at least what his next steps of his journey is going to be. But I agree. Hopefully, I certainly hope next episode we get a little more meat to the plot.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy the week to week plot line, but like the plot line did not progress at all in this episode. At least, even if his journey is find more Mandalorians, And then I was expecting when this started, like that planet that they were going to,
Yeah.
getting there would have been the first half of the episode,
Yeah.
and the second half of the episode would be like an issue going to the next step, and maybe the first half of the season is him finding his way type of thing. But this episode was even slower. They didn't even get to the next step yet. So I suspect that the next episode is going to accelerate that a little bit. It'll
I
be a
think so.
turning point, at least.
I think so. Yeah.
All right, so those are our views on season 2, episode 2 of The Mandalorian. We're going to have probably one of these every single week. We're recording this on Friday, the night that it came out. And Phil, we used for the first time, at least for me, the Disney, what is it called? Disney Group Watch group thing, where you can. It's really easy to use. You load up I did it on a web browser on my computer, and hit the invite friends, give you a link, you gave it to somebody else, Phil popped on, I hit play, and we watched it together. It was really awesome. So for those out there that if they want to have viewing parties, you could do it on your phone. So if the Disney Plus app on your phone, do it, and you can cast it to your TV and set up a phone call or something else and watch it together. It's really cool. There was no lag, I think, Phil, right? You weren't complaining too much about it? We were fully
I mean, every now and then I get a little circle or something, but it's just a handful of times. It really wasn't.
I think that's just your internet, to be honest with you.
It might be. You just like blaming whenever anything technical goes wrong.
Oh, your fault.
Absolutely.
Anyway, guys, we'll see you in a couple days when we record our weekly show on the normal time. But hopefully you enjoyed this. We're going to continue this throughout the whole Mandalorian season. And if you guys actually like this, please give us feedback on social media. Maybe we'll do some viewing things for a lot of the other Disney Plus exclusives, like all the movies and stuff like that that's coming out soon. I think, is it Soul that's coming out soon?
Yeah, Soul is, that was a Pixar film that's coming out on Christmas Day.
Oh, Christmas Day. I thought it was earlier in December. Maybe we could do something like that.
Yeah.
And
I think it's Mulan. Early December is then free for everyone, in like December 6th or something. And then Soul is available to everybody. No, it's not a premium or anything. It's just going to be available to everybody with Disney Plus on Christmas Day.
So, Phil, what about this? If this gets popular, The Mandalorian, I'm like I just got an idea and I didn't even run it by you.
Okay.
So if these bonus episodes get popular and we see a lot of downloads and people like it through social media and feedback, maybe we'll have a viewing party with our friends online through Disney Plus. What do you think about that?
Yeah, we'll give it a try.
See if we can get some. I don't know what the maximum viewing people is. They might have actually had a limit, but we'll figure it out anyway. And then maybe we can have a group podcast of that. Anyway, guys, have a good night. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the show for the week.
All right, everybody. Take care.